Nintendo, you can run your business however you like, but you're kind of being a dick right now. So recently in Nintendo news, there's a lot of talk about Nintendo taking down fan projects. The two big ones from last week is Nintendo took down a fan-made project of Metroid 2. Now this was a graphically enhanced version of the original Metroid 2, which came out on the Game Boy, which you can imagine probably hasn't aged all that well in terms of how it looks. And now the other project was a Nintendo Power Archives, which viewers could go to for free and read all of the Nintendo Powers through its over 20 years of history. And Nintendo came in, swept in, and shut down both projects. And I think that's absolutely stupid. And now before you say, well, Nintendo has all the rights to do that, well, nobody's arguing that. Nintendo has complete legal rights to shut down anything that uses their IP. They are not in the wrong here. They're completely justified in doing what they want. But as a fan, as a gamer, I think it's absolutely stupid, especially in the 21st century, where everything lives on the internet now. Sure, you do this 15 years ago before the internet, whatever, it's not talked about, but now it just attracts a ton of negative PR to your brand. And let's admit it, fan projects is an indication of fans supporting what they love. They support your brand and they are simply celebrating it. Now, if done right, there's a lot of fan projects which I completely agree should be shut down, and Nintendo has done that. In fact, if you look at the last few years, there are fan projects that Nintendo has shut down which was justified because the creator was trying to make money off their IP. And there's actually other fan projects which Nintendo has not shut down and they have continued to let them live, and that is exactly what I feel they should have done with these two projects. Now, an example of a project that should be shut down, in my opinion, is a project like Full Screen Mario, which came out a few years ago. That was an HTML browser game, which basically was a carbon copy of Super Mario Bros. 1, which is a game that is sold on the eShop that Nintendo is actively selling, trying to make money for their business. To have someone give that out for free is absolutely ludicrous. I mean, that's just bad business. That's not necessarily so much fans celebrating the brands or the IPs. It's really them just taking the product away and giving it for free. So yes, ban those kinds of projects. Completely agree on that. Now, another series that was canceled, or a project, was Super Mario Bros. Z. Now, this was an awesome animated series that has been on the net even before YouTube. I think this debuted back in, you know what, Newgrounds, I think was the site where this debuted. And it basically mishmashes the Sonic universe with the Mario universe. The animation is exceptional. It has a very Dragon Ball Z flair to it. It's amazing. Now, Nintendo hasn't touched that project, that's fine, but when the creator tried to create a Patreon so that people would pay him to do more of it, Nintendo swept in and canceled the Patreon, which is fair because he is using the IPs, like he's ripping the sprites directly out of the games to create a project and to make money out of that. That's kind of a clear line that, okay, you've overstepped, but the fact that Nintendo is leaving that project online for everyone to see shows that they don't mind that the project actually existed as a fan service production, basically. And that's fine. Now, an example of an unfair project, besides Metroid and this Nintendo Power Archives, which we'll get back to, is Super Mario 64 HD, which was released a few years ago. And this was, again, just a video showcasing what Bob-omb Battlefield would look like in HD. You could play it, but that's all it was. It wasn't the full game. It was just pretty much a glorified demo. And it got people excited. It got viewers, fans excited that, wow, this is what Mario 64 could look like with a whole graphical overhaul, and that gets people excited for your brand. Why are you gonna sweep in and cancel that? Nobody's making money off of it. It's not hurting anybody. Leave it alone. And in the case of Metroid, what's even more frustrating is the timing, more than anything. This past week was Metroid's 30th anniversary. And what has Nintendo done about that? Absolutely nothing. Not even a tweet on their Twitter account not even a picture to say happy birthday Metroid or happy birthday Samus. We are, celebrating this momentous milestone in which we created an entire new gaming genre. No, they're not even talking about it. So when fans step up and actually deliver something for free that nobody is profiting off of to celebrate something as iconic as Metroid, step out of the way, let that live on, because obviously you're not interested in supporting that. And that's absolutely frustrating that they would do that. Now, if Nintendo was completely different and they were like, yeah, sure, eShop sell, we're going to make Metroid remakes, we're supporting Metroid, happy birthday Metroid, we're even in the works of remaking a Metroid 2 game, okay, sure, go cancel it, you're justified. But there's just so many ways that you can handle this better. In the example of the Metroid 2 remake, maybe they are doing a Metroid 2 remake, and that's fine. Why not use the anniversary to announce that? Why not get fans excited? You've already got an entire fan base looking at Metroid now because of this fan remake, already excited. Why not be like, yo, we got this, it's coming, it's a business model, so we can't really have this exist. And instead of having a bunch of fans being angry, making videos about it, they'd be like, oh, that's cool, I can actually buy it. And if any, it's so frustrating because myself, I've never played Metroid 1, 2, and I haven't played much of Super Metroid. I got in at Metroid Prime Trilogy, so I don't have that much experience with the original Metroid games. And when I saw this fan project, it got me excited. I wanted to play it. I wanted to go out and buy it. I would totally support a remake of Metroid 2. But those options aren't even there for me. So why not capitalize on that, Nintendo, instead of pretty much being a dick and shutting that down? And the case of the Nintendo archives, again, nobody's making money off of that. It's all about getting fans excited to relive the history of Nintendo. Look at what's in the past, what was in the past 20 years of this amazing magazine and all the contents that are now completely irrelevant. Let's be honest, there's nothing in Nintendo Power that is a big secret or has any relevance anymore. Now, if Nintendo saw that, got the idea of, hey, we're going to use that, and we're going to, I don't know, give you, it's part of My Nintendo. If you reach level 3, you can have the whole Nintendo Power archives. That's cool. That's cool, But shut down the fan project when you have something to offer. Don't just kill it and not bring it back. Because we've seen Nintendo kill tons of things in the past 5-10 years. And again, they're completely justified in doing so, but they've never really delivered saying, oh, well, here is why we canceled that. There was really no reason for us, the fans, to say, okay, we see now that Nintendo had this on the back burner and they're introducing it. It's just poor PR. It can be handled so much better. And now the final point I want to bring up is, why are all of these more complex fan projects canceled? But then when you get into a whole other field like artwork, photography, cosplay, whatever, any kind of art form that basically isn't video form or animation or programming, why does this become okay? And this is kind of the counter example I use to justify why these fan projects should exist. Now, when I think it was Polygon, they reached out to Nintendo last week requesting, why did you guys shut down the Metroid 2? Basically getting, it's a standard reporter thing to do. What is your response on this? And Nintendo replied with, the unapproved use of Nintendo's intellectual property can weaken our ability to protect and preserve it, or to possibly use it for new projects. Fine, Nintendo, that's fair. So what about this artwork? Pika, pika. Doesn't that harm your IPs way more than these fan projects? Why aren't you going after that and leaving these very creative fan projects, which is actually strengthening your brand, alone? But hey, what do I know? I'm just a guy with an opinion. LEPINEGATE that shit.